at this time. And first thing on the agenda, proposed ordinance 02-2016. And Mayor just passed it out to you. And this is actually the document for first reading, and the things in the red have crept up as proposals. So I just want the committee to look at those, tell me your thoughts, if we need to add to, take away, change completely, or whatever. Item C there, actually, in red where it says Dock and Ames Casino, took the liberty of wanting to change that because it used to say McDonald's. And then D is completely added in the four things there. Seems to be like cars and light trucks. Is what that parking lot was designed for. But we have a little issue with hometown needing to pull truck in there once in a while, so so we put provisions in there for temporary unload, 30-minute time limit, and then 5 days. The parking time limit of 5 days is the same as the streets. You got to move a vehicle in 5 days, and then it seems like nobody wants permanent trailers there because it's like storage, so no trailers on any type of lot.
Yeah.
Clyde, what's your thoughts?
I think it's a good start. I think it'll work.
Chairman, yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
Is this common for a parking lot to allow people to park in it for 5 days?
Well, that's what our streets are.
Well, the parking lot's designated for people that are shopping downtown. You don't want all those people in apartments all parking there and taking up the shopping spots for parking downtown, do you?
Well,
You're making it a parking lot for the apartment buildings, is what you're doing.
right. But actually, you know, if you look around our town, you can see it's actually isn't booming right now. And only probably, what, 30% of that parking lot gets people at the moment. So, you know, we can always change it later, but this is probably, you know, keep the same as the streets. You got any suggestions? What would you want to see it?
You're very welcome.
I would recommend it 8 hours, it'd be plenty. That's a daily.
The problem with, part of the problem with 8 hours though is the assessors, you know, they're parked in there too. So what do you do about them?
But who is?
State.
The state, the assay office, you know, they're right by Monte Carlo.
Mm-hmm.
They got 2 or 3 state vehicles that are parked there, you know, overnight because that's their office building. And the Boys and Girls Club has been using it off and on because they're down the street a ways.
Well, I thought the reason for designing was to enhance our community and not have a storage lot for vehicles. That's all I'm trying to get across. And that's what you're making it, a storage lot for people to park their vehicles. That's all.
You said that's what I was looking for.
Well, Councilperson Mitchell hit it right on the head. Designated 8-hour parking zone would not work due to the fact that even before we improved it, there was a Boys and Girls Club that would use it for parking their vans in overnight and when they're not in use. And there are some businesses who have company vehicles, etc., that park their vehicles there when they're not out on the road using them, etc. So the 5-day limit would take care of, you know, problems like that and not allow it to be permanent parking for any one person or persons. And I think the limiting of it to cars and light pickups only is going to enhance the parking opportunities for downtown shoppers, etc. You know, by not having big trucks pull in there and take up like 3 spots, or you know, be there for 2 or 3 weeks or anything like that. So no trailers, you may get some blowback on. I'm not sure from who and how many, but I do know that from time to time there are people who park their trailers in there overnight or for extended periods of time, and I think that's what we want to prevent. I think Mr. Geiger is right when he states that we want this to be a functional parking lot for the shoppers as much as possible.
George, you got any thoughts?
Come in a little late, I apologize, but you know, the shoppers downtown, let's say a rancher comes in with his horse trailer and he wants to shop downtown, you know, he needs a place to park his horse trailer, his truck and his horse trailer. And when he comes from, you know, Bloomfield area or whatever the case may be, you know, if we restrict him from parking in that parking area, there's really nowhere else for him to park because it's all angled parking or parallel parking around the downtown area. So I would be cautious in limiting, you know, something like that. Same with people coming from out of town in their motorhome. You know, they go to the Makoshka Park and camp overnight, and they want to go downtown to shop. Where are they going to park their motorhome while they get out and go shopping? You know, it's difficult to find parking for larger vehicles that want to shop downtown. So it's something to keep in mind.
Right. And actually, George, we thought about that, talked about that, and we figured, you know, since our streets are pretty clear most of the time, you know, it'd be easier for somebody with a horse trailer just to park on the curb on the street, or a motorhome, the same thing. So we actually did look at that. It's a little tight going in there, yeah.
Yeah, I believe Chairman Baker that Merrill Avenue is 100% parallel parking. So, yeah, that would give plenty of space to be multi-unit vehicles, trucks, trailers, motorhomes.
Jack, you got any thoughts about the parking lot?
I agree that I think there's enough
Jack probably hasn't seen
parallel
the
parking.
ordinance.
You can have mine. Thanks.
Yeah, I think this is a good start, good thing to go with, and if problems arise down the road, we can take another look and revise as needed.
I'm just gonna wait and hear Jack's opinion here. Go ahead, Jim.
Who's gonna monitor the police department's gonna monitor who's parking, they're gonna chalk the wheels and all that stuff, is that how
Right,
it's
they're
gonna
the
work?
ones that monitor our street parking now, Gary, so that should be just an additional area.
Yeah, I think this covers it okay.
Yes, okay. Okay, if it's okay with committee, I wanna send this document over to city council next meeting, and then,
City attorney for.
yeah, city attorney, and then go on to city council next meeting, and try and do the first reading on the 20th day of September. Is that okay with committee? Number 2, Jerry Geiger's ordinance enforcement. Jerry, you want to tell us what you're proposing there?
I guess it's something I've been proposing for like 7 years, 8 years. It's time, Glenda, I've fixed something that's been wrong with this town since it was made. They never had any enforcement of any of your rules or laws, codes, except for ones they pick and choose to enforce. And that's just wrong. You were elected to enforce all the laws and codes of the city, not just pick and choose which ones when you felt like doing. So we need to take that 15 mils that you have extra, I think you have about 30 mils sitting there doing nothing, and hire an officer to enforce these codes, and I'm the secretary to help him because he'll be so damn busy he won't have time to sit still. It's way overdue. It's not you guys' fault, it's not anybody's fault, it's just something that's been put back in the back burner and just forgot about. Let's just enforce the ones that are blatant or the ones we feel like. You keep making new rules and new laws, but you don't have any actual enforcement of them. Unless it's something that somebody bitches about.
Jerry, I just want to ask you one question. And I know I've said it before, but if we did that, would you do the job? Would you take the job?
How would I take the job? I'm not an officer to do. But I would, if you get it to me, if you give me the right amount of money and a secretary, I'll do it for you.
Well, how much would you want to do it?
Well, it's gonna be an 8-hour day job, 5 days a week at least, so.
We just want to contract you.
No. Anyway, but that's something that you guys gotta really think about.
No, I want to put it in my report and pose it to council.
The council is gonna hire me to do that. You have to put them up for bid and let somebody
No,
do
Jerry.
that job.
No, I mean, if you want to get this job done, you need to do it yourself. You know, I mean,
I
you
gotta
need
do
to
it myself, I would have to
Yeah.
have help.
Yeah.
It's not something that's,
So throw a
it's something
number.
the whole council, the city, according to what,
Yeah.
how you worded on the code thing, it says the whole city, the council, the neighbors, everybody's involved in it. Not just Jerry Geiger, because I'm the only one that's outspoken.
Yeah, but you got the heart and soul into it, so you'd be the best code enforcer we could get.
I probably would, but
Yeah.
you'd have to put it up for what do you call it, from the other agency, up for a job. City employees would have the first option of getting a job or whatever. Even George would be a better, added to his resume as a building inspector.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah,
can I ask
go
a
ahead.
question? Can you name 5 ordinances that are not being enforced?
Oh, absolutely.
Give me an example.
The trees, the brush, your sidewalks, so, and it just goes on and on. I can, properties that are neglected, junk in their yards, junk in their alleys. If I get the code book out, I can really get it. Don't forget the code. But there's so many codes that if you're not gonna enforce them, then just get them off the code book. I don't understand what the big deal is about enforcing. Every town, big town or small town that has any decent town has a code, enforcement of their code. Even Sydney's got a enforcement officer now. What is the problem about enforcing something that you're mandating people do?
Probably finding somebody to do the job, that's why I ask you.
If it comes to that and the railroad lets me, I could probably take it, but I wouldn't be able to take a full salary because I'm kind of a railroad retirement. For a couple more years.
Yeah.
When I get to be 65, then I huh?
62.
No, it's when 65, then you can draw as much money, or make as much money as you want.
Well, you just do
I
part-time.
didn't have the years, but
Jerry, you could just do part-time. Just start
yeah,
out
it's a
slow.
full-time job.
Well, yeah, but you could just start out slow.
On the park.
Just say yes.
Give me
I wanna
the material and the time to do it, and the
I
person
want
to
to
help
put
me.
in my
I will.
report to the council next time that Jerry Geiger said yes to.
Absolutely, I would do that job if I had a secretary to help me do the paperwork.
Okay.
And keep me out of trouble.
Yeah, but
I would be the most hated guy in town.
exactly, that's why you need to do it.
But that's something you guys need to really think about.
Okay, any public comment this time? none, put you down.
Close the ordinance at 4:15, Leon, or
Yeah.
4:16?
Okay, personnel committee, 6 things on the agenda. First thing was resignation from Public Works Department.
I have for your notes, Dan Rosnowski is one of the utility workers, and he's to be done August 26th.
Okay.
With that, I'd like to request permission to advertise that position.
Oh, for number 4, okay, yeah, I see you.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I don't have an agenda.
No, that's
I
fine.
apologize. I do have an agenda in front of me.
They just kind of split them up. Might as well do one and be upright. I said the one lead and then the higher one.
Yeah. Okay, Jack.
One and four are done.
You say something?
Yeah, the police resignation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have a resignation from Josh Krylas, who resigned from that police department.
And then I guess that's where the request to advertise for sergeant or lieutenant.
Right, I thought the police department was going to be here to put in the request, but Chief Mitchell did say with a vacancy, rather than go out immediately and advertise for another patrolman position. You remember about 6 months ago, they went out and advertised for a lieutenant or a sergeant position.
Right.
And so at this time, to try and get some mid-level management in, he would like permission to advertise once again for a sergeant or a lieutenant, which none of the present officers are qualified for after years.
We gotta leave it open. It's public meeting.
All right, and that,
Public meeting.
yes. But where you're approving the advertising
Yep,
it
yep.
for a sergeant or a lieutenant.
Yeah, approving that, and for Jack to.
Utility worker.
Utility worker, yep.
Okay, and I would say we drop down to number 6, and Geiger wants to propose that for a personnel issue, and then we can close the meeting for the interviews.
Yeah, I'm gonna propose again that you advertise this job as next time you get a chance. And the secretary. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Okay.
I think that's everything except for the interviews and the personnel, again, before you.